in the last episode of Have You Seen, Lance psyched you out and said, we're doing 2 movies in one video. That's not the case.
No, better so that we could split up and put it as its own little Valentine's separate video for you to watch on Valentine's Day.
Mainly, it's like Nick's covering for me. I fucked up and hit the wrong button. So, we're going to try and maybe edit them together, but it might be 2 different videos, so we'll see.
So back to part 2. So for My Bloody Valentine.
Yes.
From 1981.
So, Nick, you have now seen My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah. So it was one where, kind of like when we did Return of Jafar and Geisha Assassin, which is coming out next week, despite the fact that we did record it last week.
Yes.
So we watched one on our own, and then we got together and watched the other one. So this time out, we watched The Fog on our own, but then we got together and watched My Bloody Valentine. And like we just did it, so it's still fresh in the brain.
Sadly.
And all right, so you're gonna ask me what I thought of it?
After I do this. Happy Valentine's Day, you beautiful bastards. I can see through this camera. I see what you're doing. I need you to put that away and pay attention for a minute.
All right.
So
he creeps me out too.
I creep myself out sometimes. But so Nick, what did you think of My Bloody Valentine?
Meh.
Meh.
It was okay.
If you had to rate it 0 to 10, what would you give it?
I don't know. I don't know if we need to talk about it a little bit more first, because I'm edging between 4 and 5. Because I think, was it below average or was it just average? And I'm not entirely sure. Because I mean, we had fun because we ripped on it.
Yes.
If I'd watched it alone in my room, would I have had as much fun with it? Probably not.
Right.
Just because it was kind of slow.
Through my mind's eye, I would have given it, from when I watched it as a kid, I would have given it like a 7, because that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And then I grew up and watched it tonight, and I thought to myself, I was kind of an idiot with poor taste back then. So,
well, I mean, it's there are scenes and stuff in it that I think are cool. I think the design, like the minor killer designer or design, is kind of cool.
Oh,
the minor designer.
Minor designer. Ooh. There's a horror genre right there that hasn't been tapped into.
M-I-N-E-R.
Ooh. I don't know if I want to watch that.
No, we'll throw that movie in the trash. Ooh. It didn't make it past testing.
The producer of that went to jail. Anyways, this is where we hit spoiler territory. After we give it the rating, you can always count that we're going to start talking about shit from the movie. So
again, a 40-year-old movie, so I think for the most part, you could probably talk about it. I mean, in the comments, but I've not seen the sequel. If you want to talk about the sequel or the remake rather, in the comments, it's fine. I'm not missing anything.
I mean, honestly,
I had 20 years to watch it.
We might be breaking new ground here. I don't know if anybody's ever reviewed this movie, but I know if we go on YouTube right now, there's like 90 of them.
Well, someone's talked about this movie.
Yeah,
we're not the first people to talk about a movie, especially like how many Valentine's Day horror movies are there? Probably 2.
Did they do a part 2 of My Bloody Valentine?
I was going to say this one in the remake.
yeah. That's actually a really good point. If you know of any other Valentine's Day movies that are horror films, and I'm not talking like, don't bring up like, chick flick horror Valentine's movies, because I know
like horror movies.
I know they're horrible, but that doesn't count as horror. But if you know of any other Valentine's murder movies or horror movies, put it down in the comments. Or
just start throwing holiday movies at us. Like, give us an Arbor's Day horror movie. That way, when Arbor's Day comes around, we can watch an Arbor's Day horror movie.
Yeah. Would that be the Final Destination where the trees fell off the back of the truck and into the windows and stuff?
I think that's the trees getting back at you, but it's not Arbor's Day.
Okay.
I guess just themed movies in general. So it's not necessarily horror movies. We're not a horror movie channel.
What's the next holiday?
I don't know. I didn't even register as like, February's coming up. That means my Valentine's Day. I've been single for a long time. Valentine's Day is like...
Yeah.
Today it's this week. It's a Saturday or is it a Monday? It's a Monday.
Yes,
it's
on a Monday.
It's a Saturday in the movie is what it was. Is why I'm thinking Saturday is...
No, it was Thursday in the movie.
Thursday was the 12th, 13th, and the 14th was...
I thought it was Tuesday the 12th.
It showed Thursday the 12th, Friday the 13th.
And then Saturday
the 14th.
You figured that Friday the 13th would have been a bigger day that they would have worried about, but I guess those movies weren't out at that point.
Didn't they come out in the 70s?
I don't know. Leave it in the comments and tell us when Friday
I
the
mean,
13th
we could Google
came
all
out.
this stuff. It's like we're back in the 80s.
It's distracting if I'm sitting here going, yep, IMDb says.
It'd be the thing we need to look up, but we don't plot these discussions out beforehand. Like we recorded the movie, then we sat down, and like let's talk about the movie and see what we think.
We like to try and do it off the cuff because we're usually funnier when it's off the cuff.
Yeah, I'm not a writer.
No, not at all. I mean, eventually, maybe in a world where we're getting money to like soup all this up, because like literally just to show you how low budget this whole thing is, it's a buddy's microphone, a light we bought from Walmart for $20, a camera that I'm borrowing from a friend. You know, like it's just, this is something we wanted to do, and we were just like, screw it, let's just do it.
Yeah,
That's what we have.
Let's do it so we can do it. And
so if you donate to our Patreon, we can make this look a lot more professional, and it'll probably still have about the same quality of production.
Maybe one day we'll have a Patreon to be donated to.
No, it's there now. It's not there now.
Mm-hmm.
No one's gonna find these for like 6 years.
This is my doubt face.
Yeah, well, it's the way it's gonna happen is we're gonna churn out about 50 or 60 movies, and then we're gonna get like disgruntled because no one's watching them, and then one of us is gonna get fucking memed, and then everyone's gonna go watch them.
I'm not getting memed.
I hope I get memed.
I'm boring. Look at me.
I mean, you might be like, I decided to wash my arms in Clorox, and this is what happened. That could be a meme.
I mean, anyone can blow out a camera. I look like that is to deep fry me to meme me.
Yeah, I'm kind of blowing out the camera too.
But you can actually see the texture on your skin. You can. I guess you can see like, look, I got moles.
Ooh, ghost mole. But anyways, when I was a kid, I probably would have given this movie like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
After rewatching it tonight, I'd probably give it I was gonna say 4, but I think that might be too generous. It's a decent movie. For what it was, and you could tell that the movie was like extremely low budget.
Yeah.
It still had some pretty cool effects. You know,
I mean, there was stuff in it I liked.
Yeah. Dryer lady, you only got to see her for 2 seconds, but it looked pretty fucking gross when she rolled out of there.
I have a feeling if we paused it and looked at it, it might have looked worse, which is why we kind of got it. Because it's a slasher movie, like you would think. I mean, that's what I was expecting. Because I've kind of, through osmosis, kind of like, oh, this is what My Bloody Valentine is like. It's just kind of, time has gone on and people have like made reference to it or whatever. So I was expecting it to be a bit more in the slasher genre. I mean, was this a slasher?
I don't know. Do you consider like Jason and Mike Myers like slasher?
Yeah.
Then I would say it's slasher.
Okay.
Because he's still like murder walking after people and like, you know.
And he's there to kill people. And you see some people die on camera, but a lot of it is like, I'm going to hang this woman on a hook. And then like we come back later and we see like her from like, we see her face with water coming, like her mouth open with water coming out, but we don't see like her impaled. So you just miss out on a lot of the, like in the day, like you'd see like cheesy effects. Like there's a puppet hanging on the wall that's meant to represent the person, but it's so low budget that you look at it and go, well, that's a weird wonky effect.
So
they just skip that shit.
So now that you say it, like the shower head was like coming out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So like the commitment of the killer to be like, okay, I'm gonna take this shower head off, and I'm gonna push this through her neck, and then I'm gonna thread this back on.
They didn't have shower heads, instead they were open pipes, and they jammed them so that they were just spraying rather than pouring. So he just kind of took, it was a jagged pipe, or essentially a flattened pipe, and he just shoved her head through it, and the water was just coming out of her mouth.
Okay.
So, I mean, but they didn't show any of that.
I have a feeling someone was like, wouldn't this be a really cool effect if we like actually push her head through the thing? And the guy's like, that's going to cost us $4.18.
I got $20, so
let's skip it. I'd like to buy lunch today.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Like a lot of the actual killings, they ended up just turning into jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you just kind of miss out on some of it.
Yeah, but like, I guess that's more expensive. We saw a grand total of 5, maybe 6 of him actually doing it.
There was the original one where the movie kind of cold opens with a murder.
Yes.
There's Mabel
in the laundromat.
I think she was next. Next was the was it the old man that went to the mining facility that next day?
Let's say yes.
Because I think that was the next one. You got the kid who got his face pushed into hot dog water.
Yes.
Then you had the girl who went out to go with the guy with red hair and the unibrow and the overbite. Then I'm like, which one does he get made fun of for more?
Yeah, I said all 3.
So that was her.
Okay, 5.
Then down in the mine, there were the two people that split off to go like have some fun, and then they got drilled.
Well, we didn't see that.
But you saw them with a drill for them, so you saw their corpses.
So that's 6 and 7.
Yeah, and then you had dude that got stapled in the face.
8.
And then you had girl that got pickaxe and then bellied.
9. And then you also had guy that you thought was going to die in the first 30 minutes of the movie, but he made it like an hour and 20 minutes.
That's right. So 10 kills?
10, yeah.
And 2 of them were kind of, you were shown the aftermath of it rather than... But a lot of times, like, he was picking up the girl and was taking her to the shower. You saw him pick her up, and you know what was going to happen, but then you didn't even actually really see the aftermath of it. You saw, like, him swing at old guy that was setting up the thing, but like I guess you saw him get dragged away, and it was kind of like hooked in like into his ribs or something like that.
Well, it did show the pickaxe go into his eye, and then the guy fell down, and then he's like dragging him off with the pickaxe like in his face. So yeah, but I feel like they blew the budget on that. So
I just think there was a lot of stuff where if you were watching maybe like some of the different slasher movies, you probably would have seen it, even if it looked cheap. And I think that I don't like gore stuff. So generally when something is cheap gore, that's when it's fun for me, because then it's just kind of, it looks so obviously fake that it doesn't, I don't want to see what like someone razor blade cut like an eye or something. I don't want that to be realistic, because that's gross.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it looks like a dummy head, like from like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like pull in Total Recall, pulling the thing out of his face, where I'm like, that's a puppet.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That is funny. There are a lot of different genres of horror movies, and like I thought that I had pretty much the stomach to watch any horror movies, and then, but like I found out that like sounds in movies are what get me. I watched a movie a long time ago called Hostel.
Oh, I've never watched. I can't do it.
And those movies, yeah, they're disgusting, because like you see like the people getting tortured, but like the sounds in the movie kind of fucked with me a little bit, and I thought that one was bad until I watched a movie called Wolf Creek. And that movie is not only it's terrible, but it's fucking gross. Like, I made myself sit all the way through it, but it's like the sounds of what you're watching, and you're just like, okay, that's disturbing. But then you hear the sounds, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking puke. So yeah, it's.
So there's the kind of balance between seeing. I want to see the puppet pierced. I don't want to see like an actual head pierced. That's gross.
Yeah, 80s. I mean, that was like, in my opinion, the golden age of horror movies. That's where you got like a lot of the really good ones. Like, you know, you get your Nightmare on Elm Street, some of the good Halloween movies. Those are, I mean, you know.
I've not gone back to one. I watched the Nightmare on Elm Street movies like last year, and like the first one, it's not great. But the fun part about the first one, or about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, is Freddy, and that's why they endure, I think. And then later, as they kind of built on his kind of amusing character, is kind of like what made those movies fun. It's not necessarily that. I think Nightmare on Elm Street is kind of one of those ones that people look back with rose-colored glasses.
I mean, Robert Englund is like, he's a creepy looking dude. Yeah, and then you put that mask on him, and he's like.
But I mean, even like the remake one looked better effect-wise. It just didn't look like Freddy anymore.
See, I don't agree with that. I feel like somebody took a piece of cheese pizza that had too much tomato sauce, and they just pushed it on Jackie Earle Haley's face. Like, I didn't like the burn look on his face on that one.
That's what it was.
But he's still creepy. But like it was him doing a Rorschach impression with like pizza on his face, like. And that's not accurate. It's like I wanted to like that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think I liked it as much, but just for different reasons. As a horror movie, I think it was scarier. It played up the horror more, whereas like, and Freddy in that movie's like, he's an awful person, because Freddy's an awful person. Whereas when you watch the Robert Englund one, like all the things they say Freddy does, he's an awful person. People were like, oh my god, can you believe that all the things that this Freddy did to little kids? I'm like, did you watch the old movies? They didn't like explicitly say it, but they're kind of like, he goes after, you know, the kids on the block and all this kind of stuff. Well, they're teenagers, Michael. That makes it much better.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like The Fog in that respect, where he's going after the kids of the people who basically burnt his ass up.
Yeah.
So, but like that was, I know that was
he was going after the kids, which is why the parents burned him up.
And then in the remake, I think
he was going after the kids in a different way.
Yeah, he was a pedophile,
and the parents burned him up.
Yeah, but like I remember there was some kind of twist. Maybe it was in like one of the later Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but I think they basically said that like the mob turned on Freddy Krueger, and the reason he turned evil or whatever is because they got the wrong person or something like that. I can't remember.
That was in the remake where they hinted that he might have been the wrong person, and then later in the movie you found out like, oh no.
Yeah, no,
Oh
he was a bad guy.
That was him. He was a bad guy.
Okay, that's what it was.
And I kind of like that idea of it, like, until, you know, they kind of did the twist, like, no, he was actually a bad guy. That I thought it would have been interesting that, like, if this Freddy was just kind of like an innocent person that kind of got turned evil because, you know, he got wrongly done, and then like, no, he was taking kids to his little
shack.
Yeah, and like, okay, all right, never mind.
Yeah,
never mind.
Yeah,
And well, I mean, this tangent essentially is along the lines of horror movies in the 80s and kind of what you expect a slasher to be. And this one, I mean, technically, it came out in like 1980, like when they filmed it, which means it's a bit more of a 70s movie than an 80s movie. Because like the decades aren't like nice. It's not like the January 1st, 1980s. Okay, everyone stop listening to disco. We're done with disco. It's the 80s now. Everyone put on your friggin'
bell bottoms and... Except that it has
take
like name brands.
Take off the bell bottoms and put on the get your 80s hair.
Get your butterfly collars off and actually like start wearing your Jinkos and stuff like that.
I was gonna Jinkos, isn't that 90s? I was gonna like right when 90s starts, like everyone take off your mom jeans, put on your Jinkos.
74, 84, I would have been 10, 85, 86, 87. 88 is when I had my first pair of Jinkos, and I was like one of the last ones to the party on that. Okay. So I think it might have been a late 80s thing.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but
so I just think of those pants that were essentially as Jinkos, right, where the bottom is as wide as the top, and it just looks like you have one big long.
And in some cases, it's even bigger. It almost looks like you're wearing cowbells on your legs because like the.
Is that still Jinkos? Because I thought that was the bell bottoms was nice and thin, and then it just goes at the bottom.
I mean, they had like disco pants back then that were like that, but like Jinkos were like the entire leg was just like gigantic.
And you could fit like two people with a leg.
Yes. Yeah. Like
okay, maybe it was 80s. I just remember them for the 90s.
Yeah, you could have sack raced in those things, like put one person in one leg and one person in the other one, and that could have been interesting.
But so it felt. I mean, even like with The Fog too, they felt kind of like 70s movies that are kind of at the very beginning of the 80s.
I can definitely agree with that.
Especially with the dude who had like the 70s stash, and everyone had 70s hair. That's kind of like it goes down, but then it's feathered at the bottom. And I'm like, I can't tell any of these motherfuckers apart because they all look the same.
Yeah.
And like we were watching the movie, and like somebody mocked the killings of that were going on in the movie. Like 20 years ago, all these awful killings happened. He was like, I'm like, that guy in 30 minutes is gonna die. He was one of the last ones dead, but he's like the first one to mock it.
Yeah, we had a counter. It's like as soon as that guy made fun of the dude telling the story about the killer, then he like blew a raspberry at the store, and he's like, "You watch, it'll happen to you." And like Nick was like, "That guy's dead in 30 minutes." So like we struck it on the camera to see if he would get it, and
so in 30 minutes, someone like 30 minutes exactly, someone did die.
Wasn't that hot dog water guy?
I think it was hot dog water guy.
Yeah,
it was another one of those people in the group. It was just not that guy. He lasted too long.
Yeah, well, in the new format of horror movies, that guy went first, but like that one,
yeah,
he ended up getting to be the chicken shit that was like, why are y'all standing? Well, no, actually, he was the sensible one because like when he found out there was a murder down in the tunnel, you had the one girl who's frozen and didn't want to leave the dead guy, and the guy said very clearly, "He's dead. Let's go."
Yeah,
you know,
it's like he's gonna be coming for us. Let's get out of here. Yeah. She's like, I don't want to get out of here. Okay, I can't leave him.
Yeah, he fucking like, dipped, and then those two chicks hung back, and then you had the whole thing that happened between the two dudes, Axel and TJ. So, anyways,
so we're actually talking about the movie for once.
It's amazing. Yeah, no, it's. I think there's more movie than there's actually tangent in this video. So this is a big step for us.
I know we're trying, but sometimes you watch a movie when it's just kind of like, it's all right.
You know, sometimes you watch flicks and they inspire you to like reminisce on other movies.
Yeah, it's. I mean, in this one you're kind of talking like it's an '80s slasher movie, and it's kind of is reminiscent of other slasher movies and stuff you've seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the same vein of like Friday the 13th, but he's not supernatural like Jason is. Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, but all those guys have like an element of like something weird's going on.
I mean, he's definitely strong to be able to pick just grab a woman by like the shoulders and just like shove her head through a pipe. So he's got that minor strength.
The heaviest part of her looked like it was her hair. So she had like straight up Hades Aquanet bouffant going on. So like that had to have been the heaviest part of her. And we're talking what, like 5 pounds at most?
Yeah, but you're still going through skull or spine and not through the mouth with just to this motion.
And then
that's pretty good.
And then the armored hair. Well, hold on. That actually begs the question. Like, you know, if I picked you up by the shoulders and I tried to shove a pipe through the back of your head, you would think that I would have to have like one hand on your chest and one hand on your head so I could really
get in the pipe.
Yeah, like you're pushing the pipe and she's just doing this. It's like, no, that's not the way we need this to happen. So
come on, Mario, get in the pipe.
Now that would have been funny if somebody went back and edited it, and when he pushed it through her head, it was like, bram, bram, bram. But sorry, we digress.
That's still about the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, it's through the mind's eye of like what I thought it was when I was a kid, and from what I thought it was now. Then yeah, I can see where I've seen much worse between then. So,
but I mean, I think it did have some like we said, the killer design is pretty cool. Like the thing that you were saying really messed you up as a kid when they pulled in the rope and all the
clothing,
costumes,
yeah.
but all the uniforms from work kind of were coming down, and she was like, "Oh my god!" And she came around, and he's like, "I'm here. I'm a ghost. Or I'm a killer."
You know what that just made me think of? Another scene that like fucked me up when I was a kid. You ever seen the movie Beastmaster?
I have not seen it for a long time, but yeah, I have.
You remember the fucking things that like would wrap you up and like dissolve you, and then they open their things back up, and then the bones fell out?
I do remember that.
Yeah, those things fucked with me when I was a kid too.
I think it did me too. Because that was early '80s when my brothers were like super into those movies, and I'd watch them too. Because they're like, "Look, Mom, we should get a ferret." Like back in the '80s when everyone wanted a ferret because of Beastmaster.
Oh, and by the way, we just double dutched your ass because we were like, "Go away if you don't want to watch the movie My Bloody Valentine," and you went away. And because we're like, spoilers, don't watch anything past this part. Then you went away and you watched My Bloody Valentine. And you're like, oh yeah, the movie was bad. And then we're like, fucking eat your face monsters. And you're like, fucking, it's a spoiler within a spoiler.
It's a spoiler for Beastmaster. I mean, is it?
I mean, also 40-year-old movie at this point. So no, I don't think that counts either. But anyways, yes.
We also talked about Friday the 13th and stuff like that too. Movies that are just kind of, I mean, if
they're
someone,
staples.
If someone talks about Friday the 13th, like, I've not seen Halloween, and if someone talks to me about Halloween, I'm like, oh no, I was gonna watch that movie. Like, I had plenty of time to watch that movie. It's my own fault if someone tells me things about, and plus, it's just, you learn some stuff through osmosis. And I think we've talked about like Citizen Kane and Casablanca and stuff like that. I've not necessarily watched, but it's
Everyone
just kind
knows
of it's part of culture, and you can kind of get references to them, having even never seen them, just from people who reference them and kind of show scenes and stuff of it.
Well, I mean, what's the biggies? It's like the call was coming from inside the house.
Yeah, I don't even know what movie that's from, but I know that. Is it called like The Strange? No, it's not Stranger or something like that. Strangers in the House or something. I don't know.
The Caller. No, I think that's a little too on the nose. I don't know, but like
kick ass and chew bubblegum, or I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
And I'm all out.
And
of
I'm all out of
bubblegum.
ass.
Wait, I think one of us got that wrong. But anyways,
that's the way I do it.
Yeah, like he was dead the entire time. Like there are certain ones that are just like in culture at this point. So
no, I am your father. Except people have to say, Luke, I am your father.
No,
it's no, I am your father.
Am your father.
But in I think it was Tommy Boy when Chris Farley was talking to the fan. Luke, I am your father.
Yeah, well, it's was it called the Mandela Effect when everyone seems to remember it a certain way?
So. I will weird like the Mandela Effect is just kind of taking something that's like, oh, like everyone talks about a thing and you just kind of misremember it. Okay, but then Mandela Effect is actually they do exist in parallel universes and you're shifting between this and another. You've never heard of the entire Mandela Effect before?
No.
It's not just like, oh, Berenstain Bears is what it is. I just misremembered and everyone else just said, someone else told me Berenstain Bears and I just, oh, it was in my head. I thought Berenstain. It's no, really, it is Berenstain Bears and you existed in another dimension and you slowly shifted into this one and there it exists and you're from a dimension where it's Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears.
So what do they call it, the Mandela Effect?
Because people remembered Mandela dying in prison. But he didn't die in prison. He went to become the president.
Nelson Mandela didn't die in prison?
No.
Wasn't he president from prison?
After.
Oh. I knew that.
There was like a story that a kid wrote about like what if Mandela had died in prison, and I think that's kind of started the common knowledge that Nelson Mandela died in prison. Well, no, it was a.
I knew that. I was testing you, and you passed. Congratulations. Good job. We get some cookies over there. I'll grab you one.
That's free cookie.
And I'll eat one too because I'm lying. I didn't know that.
But so I mean I'm fine with the kind of concept of like, oh, the and using it as a shorthand, but like the Mandela Effect itself is stupid. I just like the kind of the human brain is dumb, and if you say something close to what you think it might have been, then your brain essentially accepts that as a new reality.
Colors in those empty areas. Yeah. It's
which is essentially what nostalgia I think does. Is sometimes you'll like, man, I remember loving that movie. Then you go back and watch it, and you're like, man, it's still good. But sometimes you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, the funny part about this whole thing to me is like where we're at today, and like people will be like, oh man, like people way back in the day and like old West times. That shit was 200 years ago. Like it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Like we've come a long way in a very short amount of time, but for some reason the stupid is getting stronger out there. So
well, I mean, even Betty White would joke that sliced bread was the best thing since Betty White was before sliced bread.
But man, what a woman.
Yeah. But it's like sliced bread pre-sold in packages was like from the 20s or whatever, or from like the 30s or something. Like that's why it's the best thing since sliced bread. They're not talking about like the concept of slicing bread. They're talking about buying it in a package, pre-sliced, and you can take it home and just like, oh look, it's already cut for me.
So are we doing our sliced bread review now?
It's honey you eat for me.
Straight up white, king size, thin slices, because there's got to be like a bread to meat ratio.
So it also depends on what you're going for. If you're going for like a French toast, you want a Texas toast. You want the thick stuff.
Well, yeah, because it like cooks down, right? As your
well, I mean, it just kind of sears up much better, and you get a much thicker cut of a French toast.
Yeah, but then you get a lot of crust.
Like once you've dipped it in like the egg and cinnamon and stuff like that, and grilled it up, you're not.
French toast is dipped in egg.
Do you know how to make French toast?
No, I have no fucking clue. I make toast. I put it in the machine. I push a button down, and it comes out burnt.
Yeah, French toast. You take eggs, you scramble them. You might put in like some milk, and then you put some cinnamon. Then you take toast, cook it, and then flip it. French toast.
So the delicious taste is from eggy and milk
and cinnamon.
So can't you just get the same thing if you like
it's French toast?
Can't you just get the same thing by like putting some butter on toast? And then putting some cinnamon on it?
You're just going to get... I mean, that's essentially grilled cheese without the cheese at that point in time.
Well, it just sounds like toast with extra steps.
What's French toast? You see, well, then you put syrup on it, too, so it tastes mapley anyway.
That's pancakes.
Yeah, and waffles. Syrup is not like a... It's like, oh, I bought the pancake syrup. I have to set this aside and use this only for the pancakes.
It's like we've run out of ideas on stuff to cook.
French toast.
Yeah, I'm talking shit about French toast, but I love French toast.
French toast is so good.
But...
And just like easy. I'm surprised you didn't...
So if you were to grade French toast from 0 to 10, what would you give it?
Ooh, see, maybe 7.
7?
Yeah, what about you?
You know, I do like me some French toast, so I'm going to give it... I'll give it a 7 as well. But I think we call it Freedom Toast now. So...
No, that was back in the early aughts when My Bloody Valentine remake would have come out.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to call it Freedom Toast.
Tim, what would be your rating on French toast?
6.
6?
6? You're not a big French toast fan?
Better than average.
It is.
If they put cinnamon on it, would you give it a higher mark?
So, pancakes, waffles, French toast.
Fuck, marry, kill.
In that order.
Pancakes, waffles, French toast? Okay.
No, like from bottom to top.
Oh, you stack them all on top of each other?
No. Pancakes are the worst.
Pancakes are the worst.
Really?
Waffles. And then French toast?
You like French toast more than pancakes and waffles?
Yeah.
That's nice. That's interesting. This is interesting to 3 people.
Yeah, right. That's like we're surprised by this review so far. I
think waffles, French toast, pancakes.
See, I'm gonna go in the other direction. I'm gonna say pancakes, waffles, and then French toast.
There's like 6 options in each, and we're like,
pancakes aren't gross. Pancakes are delicious.
Well, I think it's a lot of it is where do you go to get your pancakes? And if you're doing like the biscuit sort of thing, maybe that's different than if you home make a pancake.
Yeah, Amber home makes pancakes every Christmas, and then we put the wait, is that racist to say that?
They don't call it that anymore. Now it's just like
we put Aunt Buttersworth on the
syrup.
Yeah, a little bit of butter, some syrup. Oh my god, dude, those things are so good, and especially if you get like a stack of them.
I haven't had Amber's pancakes.
Oh,
yeah. Well. I think how you make it will help out, because also like for me, French toast is also coming with main maple syrup. You're not getting like that prepackaged like it's super corn sugary. It's actually like maple syrup from like up north.
Okay.
And that
Maple cane? From the maple cane?
from the maple cane, yes.
Well, like the spouts coming straight out of the tree.
That's you tap the tree, just put it right in the thing, and just ship it off. Now
So are you just drinking sap at that point?
I mean, syrup is sap, but you process it. I think I don't know exactly what process you do to it, but it's not like if you walked up and lick a tree. It's like, let's rub my pancakes on this maple tree and then just eat it. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah, like who's the first person to discover that? Like someone ran face first into a tree and got sap on their face, and they're like,
And this ties into Valentine's Day breakfast.
Yes.
Valentine's Day breakfast. Good call there.
This video is sponsored by French toast, pancakes, and waffles. Apparently.
Go to IHOP.
Yeah. Go to IHOP.
Get yourself a pancake for this Valentine's brunch. But we're off. I think we're off the rails this time.
A little bit, yeah. We were applauding ourselves on staying on target, and then all of a sudden, way off.
So
but,
I think this movie. I think this movie's about a 4 because there's stuff in it I do like, but I think overall it's.
There's a movie about French toast?
No, there's My Bloody Valentine.
Oh, I thought this was the French toast review.
I mean, it could be.
Okay. Sorry. Anyways, 4. Please go ahead.
I think that's about like. It was okay. There's stuff in it I like. Am I gonna think about this movie and watch it again? Probably not.
Can you name one famous person from that movie?
Is there a famous person?
I don't believe so. There were like 2 dudes where I'm like, I feel like that guy was in a different movie, but I have a feeling that movie, if I watched it independently, I'd just be like, I feel like I've seen that guy in a movie and would not make the connection back to this one. Like the big dude with the glasses that had the mustache that got bolted.
The only reason he looked familiar to me because it's like this. That's the kind of setup my dad had back in the 80s, like the kind of long, not long hair, but kind of longish hair that flips at the bottom, and then like the mustache, and then like the glasses.
Yeah,
like that's my dad.
I feel it's. I feel like I've seen that guy in something, and then the guy who played TJ. For some reason, I feel like I've seen him in something else too. But honestly, like when I looked him up and saw his name, I was like, I have no idea who that dude is.
See, I don't know. So, I don't know if there's. I don't think this is a movie I'm going to necessarily call back to. I mean, the miner's uniform is pretty cool. Like seeing some. The miner's uniform is pretty cool. I don't foresee myself going back and revisiting this movie. No. I might watch the remake at some point in time. I mean, but that's also around the advent of when 3D was trying to come back. Mm-hmm. So I'm very worried about that movie just being all up. It's coming right at you, and how much of that is going to be in that movie, and how much of it's going to ruin it because I hate a 3D.
So 80s 3D was coming out of the screen and into your face.
Mm-hmm.
2000s 3D was screen, and then the room went into the screen.
But they're still kind of pushing it at you, because if you remember, in the Avengers, because the Avengers was around the time of 3D, and you've got Colby Smulders, Maria, when she's playing Maria Hill, on the roof of the thing when Hawkeye's getting away, and she's breaks the glass, and when it's not in 3D, I don't think you notice it as much. Right. But it's just when you're looking back in the mind's eye, or looking back through the lens of time, and being this is when they were trying to make 3D a thing again.
Right.
And you can see some of the scenes in which they're trying to come at the screen with it.
It's stuck around 4 years, I think.
They're putting out 3D TVs and 3D Blu-ray players or whatever, and they try to make it a thing, and it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
To me, I think it's a gimmick.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that it comes in and leaves so suddenly, I think other people probably agree it's a gimmick too.
There are people who swear by curved TVs, but honestly, I've seen quite a few curved monitors and stuff like that, and I don't get it.
I don't. I mean, I have a curved monitor, and I don't get it either.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like this was a Nick, have you seen me making you watch a bad movie, or do you?
Not really. I mean, it's not. It's one of those ones where I think there is some cool stuff in it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I will agree with you 100%. There were some cool deaths, but then there was a whole lot more that happened off camera than did on.
I think if they had pushed a bit more of this stuff from off camera and put it on camera, I think it might have bumped up to a 5 or a 6 maybe. So, because the story's fine. It's very simple.
So we know that Tim and Amber and I think Jason is watching this video. So would you recommend this movie to one of those 3 people?
Hey Amber, you should have stayed up and watched it. No, not really. I don't think so.
No. Okay, but you don't feel like you lost time?
Not necessarily. So I wouldn't say if someone's I'm going to watch My Bloody Valentine, I'm not going to be no, don't. I'd be oh, okay, man, watch it with a friend.
I'm going to recommend that you do watch it, only to it's a one and done movie. Like I will say that because I don't think I've watched it since I was a kid, but I do remember like that was something that I reflect fondly on.
It had memories in it that kind of stuck, or you've got memories that stuck with you of it.
Yeah, well, it's like even the box cover, the dude with the fucking flashlight in your eye and like holding up the miner's pick, like that stuff, like really kind of it stuck with me when I was a kid. It was one of those things that scared me. But there are like movies that I think are scarier. Like still to this day, Dreamscape is a movie that fucked with me when I was a kid because you had Cobra Head Monster Man, and that thing gave me nightmares. But also,
I don't know if I've seen that one.
Dreamscape.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that one.
Hey Nick, have you seen Dreamscape?
It's not your turn.
Shit. All right, so okay, but
No.
should we bring this doggy home?
Yeah, I think I guess next Valentine's Day we'll define. Maybe we'll watch the sequel or the remake rather.
Yeah, the 2009
Yes.
version.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to that.
Maybe we'll revisit the concept of this movie in a year, and maybe we won't talk about French toast in that video. But don't hold your breath.
You know it's gonna suck. That I just thought about.
What's that?
We're gonna have one less view on this video because Tim is like literally sitting right there watching us make this. So it's one less person that's gonna watch it.
No, he'll watch it.
Which brings our visibility down one view.
He'll watch it. He's an avid Nick and Lance supporter.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll do something he can't see me do, so he has to watch the video.
Oh, well, it's a secret. It's a secret. Well, what's he doing?
I'm just doing the alphabet with my mouth to make it look like I'm saying something.
Well, don't tell him.
I know. Shit. I'm just joking. I did something else.
All right. So I guess next video is going to be mine. So, Lance, have you seen Love and Monsters?
No.
It's a recent-ish movie. I want to say like 2019 or something like that. And it's... Well, I don't want to tell you what I think about it because I want you to watch it.
I haven't even heard of it, so...
It's one I hadn't heard of either.
Well, you've been throwing some real doozies at me later. Have you seen Japanese Murder Lady and Japanese Murder Lady versus and Geisha Assassin?
Hey, Sadako versus Kayako is a good movie.
No, I'm not saying they're bad ones. Like, I'm actually looking forward to seeing this one because I've never heard of it.
Yeah. And well, again, I don't want to tell you what I think about it. I think, unfortunately, I don't know all the places that it can be watched. I would check IMDb, but I know that it is bought on YouTube for us to watch. Nice, and maybe we can convince a special guest to sit down with us. We'll have to work that angle on him.
That would actually be nice. It's only 11:50 now. It looks like Are you going to bed?
Oh, probably.
We'll talk about that later. All right. So, look forward next week to the video that we filmed before this one. But then after that,
they're going to be out of order. But honestly, if we wouldn't have mentioned that one, you probably wouldn't have noticed. So
yeah, we'll flip it. We'll flip them in the playlist so you can watch them in filmed chronological order. We wanted the Valentine's Day one to be out on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So you could listen to us talk about French toast.
And older horror movies as well.
And old horror movies. We did more than just talk about French toast.
French toast, man.
Read the text message I sent you, Nick.
I don't know where my phone is. I don't know where I set my phone. I'm getting it's in my pocket. I'm getting set.
Can you read it to us?
Apparently, I've got. See, that's why. I've been sent images from the Peanut Gallery. French Toast is a movie. Margot wakes up on her birthday to find that things in her rural home are terrifyingly wrong. For 3 days, she will be manipulated, terrorized, physically and emotionally weakened by her changed family. Just on the other side of the bedroom door, anonymous. What? Why is French Toast a movie?
Is she terrorized by French toast?
That's just the name of the movie.
Oh.
It's a short.
Oh.
Okay, well, apparently we've got French Toast. Like, we need to watch French Toast where we can just talk about, like, we'll call it French Toast 2008, say we're talking about a movie, and then we'll just talk about French Toast.
Well, maybe we'll bundle it in with the one that we're watching
We're
this
not
week.
talking about French Toast. Don't let Tim know. We're not talking about French Toast.
He's sitting right there.
No, it's you're breaking the illusion.
I know, sorry. Anyways.
So, join us next week?
Yeah, next week, same dude time, same dude chance. Can I get sued for saying bat?
Probably.
Probably.
They'll get you.
Yeah.
That man's got to always, like with that thing from Lucius, he's watching all the things at the same time.
I'll step on the back deck to smoke a cigarette and I get yanked up by a batarang. It's like, why'd you talk about my movie?
Don't make fun of me.
That wasn't even you. You're Christian Bale. That was like Burt West, or not
Adam
Burt West.
West.
Adam West that did that.
Adam West.
Burt West.
Burt West.
I combine them.
Tim Burton?
Burt Ward.
Oh, okay.
I'm old. I have memory problems.
He's got all his Batmans as one.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that movie's coming out soon. So hopefully we can watch that at the back of the movie theater and not catch COVID. Maybe we can get like
We'll talk about it.
a timely release on that.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
And we don't usually do this at the front. We usually do this at the front, but I have been Lance.
And I've been Nick. Have a good one. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.